We are talking housing prices. They're off 22% from the high set last summer, but can we expect to see that trend continue? Here to share more about the housing market is a man who knows it inside and out. His name is Bottrell, Jim Bottrell. He's the founder of the Jim Bottrell Real Estate Team, and he joins us. In fact, he's sitting to my left. All right. Well, first of all, you state the facts, then I'll tell you what I'm seeing on the ground in my neck of the woods. So you say we're off 22%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are. So yeah, I overheard you when I was sitting in the break room when you were saying you weren't seeing it, and I completely understand why. Because housing prices went between January 1 of 22 and June 30th of 22, housing prices went up 17%, skyrocket. And then since then, that high in June 30th, we've come down 22. So in reality, from January 1 last year, we're down 5%. So that's probably why you don't see it.
So I didn't go on Zillow for that period of time and probably didn't realize that my house was being valued at $200,000 more than it was.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. So if you weren't in the market, you probably didn't see it.
Hey, just before we get on to the topic, for things like Redden and Zillow, how accurate are they?
Well, that's okay. I'm going to make some jokes here.
Okay.
So people get onto Zillow. They're just looking at statistical data. Zillow has no idea if you have, upgraded kitchen, Viking appliances. Yeah. They do know about a pool.
Okay, but they don't know.
But they don't know about a view. All right. But the people, these human beings, for some reason, I always make this joke. They think that God Himself has come down from the heavens, walked through the house, measured everything, done His appraisal, and said, "This is how much your house is worth." That's what people think. But Spencer Raskoff himself has said that it has about an 8% error rate, and it does. I mean, tract homes, it's not bad, but you would get into anything that's on land, any custom built, anything like that, anything has a view, it doesn't know.
So the forecast you're about to give me is not based on Zillow?
No.
All right, it's based on?
It's based on me being a real estate agent, selling real estate every single day, boots on the ground, real-time information, telling you what's happening right now.
So what's happening right now and what's going to happen?
Well, we're actually seeing some very positive trends. We are seeing, we're seeing multiple offers. I got on here in February and I said, wow, it's a really surprising trend in that we're starting to see multiple offers. We're seeing houses going over asking price. And I incorrectly called it a flash in the pan. It is not. It is actually proving out to be what's really happening. So there's a housing shortage, we know about that, and then the interest rates stabilized. And those two things together brought out tons and tons of buyers. The problem is there's not many houses for sale for them to buy. So simple supply and demand, there's more demand than there are supply of houses, and that's causing prices to stabilize. And we're actually starting to see month-over-month increases, very small, but despite what the statistics say, the statistics are saying that we're still heading down. And this is why I don't like the stats very much. What was a big article last month was real estate broke a 131-month streak of housing prices going up. That was in March, right? Mm-hmm. When did housing pricing start to go down?
You tell me.
July. 9 months later, and that's why I don't like stats, because it's like driving your car down the freeway, looking in the rearview mirror to stay inside your lane. Can you do it? Yeah. Is it smart? No.
All right, so because there are a lot of first-time home buyers sitting there trying to get in, and it is increasingly more difficult. Are there homes out there near good schools where a couple with young kids can still find a way to make San Diego doable?
Yes. So there are. They're expensive, and I've been on here for a year and a half. I've been saying do it now, do it now, do it now, because prices are going to go up, interest rates are going to go up, and they have. So there are programs out there. So like a lot of our buyers right now are using buy down programs where we're getting the seller to pay for it. Getting increasingly difficult, by the way. It was easier when it was a buyer's market, but now it's a seller's market again. So that's kind of hard. And you mentioned first-time home buyers. All right, first-time home buyers, and it's hard to say this, but they need to understand your first home is just that. It's not your dream home. Your first home is a necessary stepping stone to get to your dream home. My first home was just okay, and my rent was $825 a month, and I moved into a $2,600 a month mortgage payment, more than triple. Talk about payment shock. But I owned that house. Once I got that first house, it was just an okay house. I sold that house in 2 years, and I got $80,000, which was more than all of my mortgage payments put together. And from that, that's when I was a young Marine back then, I fell in love with real estate, and I took that money, and guess what I did? I bought 3 houses. Said, this thing is great. I love this. And so it made sense when I got out of the Marine Corps that I did.
So you're saying lower your expectations as far as your first home.
For your first home.
You see it as a financial stepping stone rather than your permanent nest.
Yeah, you have to get in the game. If you're sitting there renting, what's happening? Every single year your rent goes up, 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 right? Yes, your mortgage payment is going to be higher your first couple years, but it's fixed for 30 years. It never moves. Rent, it's gone up 15 to 17% per year in each of the last 3 years. And it's not going to stop. So at least when you own a home, you're capping what your monthly living expenses are going to be.
For the folks that are checking out of California in general and heading someplace else.
81% of my sellers, yes.
And they're using that as probably their retirement nest egg, the windfall from that. I would argue that maybe not sell the home and keep because it can be impossible to get back into California should you have a change of heart and want to.
It is impossible. So my dad left California in 1997. I remember he dropped me off to get on the plane to go on a deployment, and then he was leaving to Nevada. He can't get back. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's just too expensive. You're talking about possibly keeping them home.
Yeah, and renting it as a rental income.
Financially speaking, that is a fantastic idea. Here's the thing: they are leaving California for a reason. They want nothing to do with California. And that's 81% of my sellers over the last 2 years, and that's hundreds and hundreds. You know how many people have moved from out of state into California in the last 2 years?
How many?
One. Of my clients, one. I've sold maybe 300-400 homes in the last 2 years, people leaving, and I've had one buy a house that was moving here from out of state.
That's scary.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing your expertise with us.
All right, thanks for having me.
As always, you're very knowledgeable.